Welcome to Triggered. I am here today sitting with the one and only Oswald Mngwazi, Aussie, the man up. A lot of people know you. You've been around the block, you know.
Hopefully.
But you're doing a lot of cool things, man. And you've obviously been on the podcast. A lot of you have seen him on the podcast before, interviewing me, asking questions, hosting some stuff. But today we are simply here to see your story, to hear your story, to see how the heck you got into what you're doing now. You know, I think if we look at what you're doing now and who you were 2 years ago, it was very different. And it's like, yeah, it's amazing. So
Thank you, man.
a lot of you don't know that Ozzy and I, we go way back. We go way back. I was his basketball coach when he was year 9 at school.
Put the photo up on the screen. Nah.
Hey, we can go back. There's only one photo, bro. And yeah, I look like a sleazy something. I look bad, bro. I'm like, get rid of that photo. I don't know what I was wearing. Growth.
Times were different back in those days.
Times were different. I wear my beanie to the side because I thought I was T.I. You know?
Is that why?
That's what it was, you know?
Context now.
Hey, what you know about that? That was it. That was it,
Still
you know?
my MP3.
Come on now. So I had a shaved head. Anyway, great up. But we do go way back. And it's an honor to be able to live a life with you now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do business with you now. Do family with you now, like the whole shebang. But I know a lot about you.
Yeah.
I know you, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
A lot of people don't.
A
lot of people see what you have created.
Yeah.
What you're doing now. A lot of people ask questions like, well, how did you get into that? You know, I reckon today we just set the record straight, bro.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Set the record straight on what it took to get to where you are today. Let's just go there. Right? It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So quick 2 minutes, bro. Quick origin of you know, where you're from, how you got here, and what you are doing today. I reckon we go a bit different to the old Triggered podcast, and we go, cool, what does Ozzy do today?
Yeah.
And then let's track back on like how the heck and why are you in what you're doing today?
Epic. I like that. I like that. Yeah. Quick 2 minutes. For me, man, right now I run a couple businesses. So I'm involved in a business I call Synergy Networking. And it's really all about helping professionals, business owners develop authentic connections and also grow, just because we believe, as you know, a person grows, everything they come into contact with grows as well. But also as a business relationship or relationship established on the foundation of an authentic connection stands the test of time. So that's really what we do, and trying to change, you know, do something a little different in the networking space. Because I felt like, man, it's all facades and things like that. Shake people's hands, but with the other, they're like reaching into your pocket already, see you as a number, sort of thing. At least what I...
Can we just share a real quick story on you know, coming ready for a transaction before the relationship is established? Have you ever met someone like, you know, like this, you know, hey, it's going
already.
Here it is, where you've had to like, you know, like you went to connect and they came in
already
ready to transact,
hot and ready, bro. That's
that old school networking. You know, what happened?
Oh, dude, I remember this one time. And that's really what I'm all about, right? I remember I caught up with this guy one time at a cafe, and I came in, and you know, first off the bat, I'm really all about hearing people's, you know, stories about kind of like what we're doing now, how they got to where they are, because I think you get to know a person quite a lot instead of just being like, hey, I'm a real estate agent or an insurance advisor. Just picking some of the ones that I hear common out there. But everyone's had a different journey to get to where they are, and I feel like talking about that stuff first gives you an understanding of the person. But also the conversation from there almost like breaks ground. You can go to a different depth, right? So I walked in with that expectation to catch up with this person, and straight off the bat, conversation was kind of dry, and no joke, man. Within like 5 minutes, they were like, "So, do you have any referrals for me?" And I was like, "Oh, this guy straight came out and asked it." And to be honest, man,
what did that person do?
Oh, yeah, they're in the property space. I'll say that. I'm like, Christchurch is small.
I want to name names.
For sure.
Oh, man, like I want to name names right now. I won't do that.
No, I mean, all in all, they're a great guy. And doing some epic stuff, and they're killing it in what they do. But I don't know, for me, that kind of put me off, you know,
Yeah,
it kind of
fair.
sullied the relationship that could have been. And I don't think I've caught up with that person ever again. But yeah, it puts people off.
Yeah.
And I think when we're talking about the whole networking piece, bro, that's exactly why we do what we do. Because everyone who's part of Synergy and what we do, I mean, they are part of different networking environments, and that's great because they all, you know, excel in doing what they do best. But I feel like this is what we do best, and it shows.
Yeah,
proof is in the pudding.
Proof is in the pudding. Relationship
trumps
over
it, man.
transaction.
Yeah,
love that.
For
Love
sure.
that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things you run today.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, I mean, it's pretty obvious you're not from New Zealand. Last time I checked, New Zealand don't make that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, on the phone, you can't tell. The
code switch is
Come
real.
on, yeah. Got some stories about that.
We can go. Yeah, we got. I got some roast on that one, but I won't today.
Say what you want to say.
Oh man, I want to do so. Oh no, I want to.
Keep
racist. We're both in Africa. Okay, so don't judge us. All right, it's culture, not color. All right, here we go. Anyway, back to it. And so then, so you're running Synergy, bro, and obviously we'll touch on modern leadership stuff. But what was it like talking to the people that want or aspire to do something of their own, but they're stuck in, need to pay bills, can't leave my 9 to 5. It is a safety and security, right? And I know we've talked about like finances being our security. Talk to me about the jump from, you know, from that full-time life of doing what you're doing to I'm gonna jump and run something with no like blueprint business plan.
Oh man,
what would you know? Talk to me about that, bro.
Man,
come on now.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this the other day. Because I had some pretty cool wins, and you already know me. I'm someone who loves to, you know, not reminisce, but also reflect on the journey. And I remember when, like, look how far we've come.
Yes.
And I was having one of those moments for myself. And I remember vividly when I stepped out, I was like, man, the sky's the limit, and you know, you expect it to happen quick, right?
Yeah.
So I remember I went out full time. This is going back, I think it was end of August 2024, and you know, had the you know, savings, you know, piled up in the emergency fund. But I remember I stepped up and pretty much expecting that same thing to happen. Stuff is going to start to move.
Yeah, first month, right? Like,
literally. And I've had the you know, the opportunity and the privilege to witness your journey. But I was like, man, I could tell. I had like 4 or 5 months, you know, saved up. And I was like, cool. Obviously by then it's all going to be worked out. But I like to use analogies when I do some of this stuff, right? Okay. And you know, when it's raining, like, you know, off in the distance.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can see it in the clouds, but there's that smell in the air of like wet dirt before it gets to where you are. I know about here,
man,
but
so
Africa, yeah, you know, you know, that's how I function. But anyway, I liken stepping out and that whole situation to that, right? I could see or smell the rain, and I could tell it was coming. The storm was coming, but I wasn't quite in it, but I could feel it. And in the same way, I could feel, man, we've got this emergency fund saved up, but I could feel like something's coming, man. And I don't know if I'm going to like it. And I feel like these funds are going to get drained. But yeah, I feel like within that, it did. It revealed a whole lot of stuff to me. But all in all, looking back now in hindsight, I'm glad I made the step out, because I think the journey revealed a lot more in me that I didn't even know was in there. And I would not be here if it weren't for that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay, like, so talk more on that, right?
Yeah.
So the journey revealed what's in you that you didn't know was in you.
100%.
I view that as the price you pay, right? But like, talk about that. Like, what got revealed in you that you're like, dang, like, this is shucks.
Dang. I like what you said there too. Like, it's the price of entry. And I remember listening to a whole lot of podcasts around that of like, you know, the famous entrepreneurs, you know, with the hype, Eric Thomas, that sort of thing. You got to want it as bad as you want to breathe, blah, blah, blah. And I genuinely feel like that is the price that you have to pay to be able to get to wherever it is that you want to go. Because the person you are now, like, if you're out there and, you know, you're debating whether or not to step out into it, the person who you are now isn't going to be the person who's going to be able to step into what it is that you want to do. You have to go through that journey. And I think it's that journey who now creates the person who's worthy to handle some of that stuff skill-wise, but also I feel character. is even more important. Like the first month that I stepped out, I remember I caught up with a guy. I'm going to shout him out because he's young, but he's killing it.
Come on,
he's killing it. Ethan Gerard, from Gerard's Insurance. Like, remember I caught up with him September 2024 after I'd stepped out 1 month. And I remember him, talking about Aussie, man, how's it feel? Like, how's it been? Because he'd always been like, when are you going to step out? When you're doing it?
Yeah,
finally did it. So I'm going to catch up with this dude. And I remember telling him, like, dude, it's been crazy. This has all been happening. I'm unsure about all of the stuff that's happening right here. A whole lot of stuff was coming up and uncertainty and doubt was creeping in a lot. And I remember him listening to me, real chill, and then once I finished,
I can see
classic,
it. I can see
this classic rod and gun or whatever hat on. And once I stopped, freaking out, he was like, when you're in it day to day, it can seem like it's like this, right? Crazy. But when you actually do zoom out, as long as you're doing the right stuff, over time, it's going to be like that exponential curve. You're just going to start to see that hockey stick progression. And literally almost 2 years now, I can, greatly attest to that.
But it's
100%. But I know that within this, I'm a lot more cool, calm, and collected because one, I've been through the journey up until now, seeing what all that crap brought out in me to allow me to get to where I am. So if anything now, I actually embrace it and I lean into it more so that I'm going through this season now. I want to get all I can out of it. So that it prepares me for what's coming because I don't want to have to go through this again if I don't face all the stuff that comes up, right?
Yeah, okay. So let's talk on that, right? Because being cool, calm, and collected in amongst the pressure, right? And naturally, as you strive towards something, the pressure is going to increase. I meet a lot of people that when they hit that kind of pressure and it squeezes something out of them, whether it's, you said, doubts creeping in or it's anxiety or overwhelm or frustration, they don't want to feel like that. So what they do is we all naturally try our best to escape, right? So this didn't work out for me. I'm going to go get a job, or I'm just going to settle for the first thing that comes and, kind of compromise. They'll do something to make sure they don't get to where they were again. My philosophy is you're going to learn it, you're going to have to learn it again. Otherwise, you're going to live life in regret. So then you're going through this 2 years in now. In my head, 2 years in means pressure's bigger now than what it was. If you look back,
100%.
If you look back the first month and you're freaking out and what you're freaking out on,
oh man,
and then what you're freaking out now, it's different. So you're cool, calm, and collected. But the pressure's different to what it was. What did you have to do with your internal operating system to be cool, calm, and collected when the pressure's higher? Like, what was that? What was going on internally that you're like, I gotta deal with this?
Oh man, I got the perfect story for this. I was actually talking to one of my leadership coaching clients about this as well, and it takes me back to when we first acquired or purchased Synergy. It was previously owned by someone else. Great person, been run in such a great way. And then once we hopped on, I was introduced to a whole lot more people, the other groups that were running at the same time.
Yes.
One of the groups was people towards their mid 40s, early 40s, that sort of thing. I'd say it's like the median age.
Yes.
So a lot more senior in their career, business owners. They know a thing or two. And here I am stepping in, this 20, I think it was like 26 years old or something at that time. And that made a whole lot of stuff come up in me. One particular person I remember right now, I love them. They're flipping amazing. I look forward to my conversations with them and they're great. But back then they triggered a whole lot of stuff in me. Because I had some stuff in there that that needed to get out. So I remember hopping in.
Talk about that stuff.
They were a director at that time. Doing crazy things, great things in their business, but they're a real black and white person. Older woman as well. I think she's late 50s, early 60s, that sort of thing. And for me, that intimidated me a lot. She was very direct in her communication. And would give feedback like so. It was very black and white. And for me, that triggered a whole lot of stuff around self-doubt. Am I good enough? Memories started coming back of me, back in high school. Am I smart enough to be able to do this age? All that sort of stuff that wasn't a problem before, But all of a sudden now I'm in an environment with these people who are a lot further ahead of me in their career, you know, run these businesses, employ all these people, make all this money. Now I'm all of a sudden viewing myself as not good enough based on all the external stuff that I didn't even know was there in the first place.
Yeah.
Because of that, now when I'd come in to facilitate those environments, man, I remember I'd walk in and I'd be like hyping myself up. I'd be like, man, okay, this is what I'm going to say. I can't mess anything up. Literally prep it word for word. And if I botch it, I would freeze and I'm like, stutter. And I'm like, dude, it's done from there. But every time I'd look around the room and the thoughts going through my head were, man, who the heck are these people to listen to me? They probably think this guy doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. Why am I spending my time here? Because man, they could be going elsewhere. I mean, they pay to be here. So why would that? I couldn't see that. So that caused me to actually dive into the operating system, and some stuff came up around my upbringing, not being good enough based on my skin color, my self-worth being dictated by finances. And I always come back to this because it's come back in so many thought detoxes that I've done around the interaction that I had with my mom when I was in high school. She comes in back from work, my sister and I after school, chilling. I think we're doing our homework or something at the table, and she sits us down like with a real serious look on her face. We're like, oh snap, she's not normally like this. And she was like, man, you guys need to work twice as hard to prove that you belong and that you can do it. But just because of the color of your skin, like all these Kiwi kids, Australian kids living in Australia at the time. So automatically from then, that memory was stored, you know, in my non-conscious. But every time I'd step into that environment, it's like, without even me knowing, that was the programming that was running under the surface. And because of that, on the surface, what would come up was self-doubt, anxiousness, you know, stress, worry, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, man.
Man, there's so much in that, bro. And I think we can all, I remember being like that, like coming to a meeting, right?
Dude.
And like, I'd have my self-belief is in the car. Like, okay, I'm a conqueror. I've got this. Like, you know, like I'm like, come on, Rico, go in there and be you, right? And it's like it's cool. You can, bro, look fear in the face. Go do it. Cause like if you don't have that, like you ain't, unfortunately the pressure's always gonna win.
Yeah.
But at least we had that, right? But that's also tiring.
Yeah.
Tiring as heck. And fighting fear every single day is not actually dealing with things. You know, like, you can be like, yeah, I got to win today. And they're like, all right, back on the battlefield tomorrow.
I'm going to do it again tomorrow, damn it.
It's just like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
But I think, seeing like, I've actually went back all the way to what was instilled to you.
Yeah.
That, oh no, I don't belong unless I produce something.
Yeah.
That's going to take me to work exceptionally hard.
Oh, man.
You know, like that's
a
pretty, my whole thing is like, so what if you do something that you find easy? Does that make it not good enough? Because you didn't work exceptionally hard?
Yeah.
Which means nothing that you're talented at is good enough.
Exactly.
Because it should come easy to you. You know? And you're like, oh, okay, I'll go do something that's hard.
Yeah.
You're like, well, what? Yeah, anyway. I was like, man, it's crazy.
Oh, it's wild. You know? It's wild. And it brought out some stuff, man, for sure. Like, we talk about, sweet, all that stuff on the surface, but even just digging down, just literally scratching the surface, realizing that, I feel like I have to do something to keep these people or to win people over, people pleasing. I remember this one time I was in high school. I'd moved around a lot since I moved from Zimbabwe, right? I was here, I think from midway through year 4 through to end of year 10. But through that, I think I moved like three or four schools. And then I moved to Australia for my last 3 years of high school there. So I'm pulling up, man. And I remember the pictures so clearly, man, and how I was feeling. First day of school, you know, coming in, and my mom drops my sister and I off, you know, at the front office. And we're walking in, and it's like this massive, like, field quad area, and everyone was there. I don't know a single soul.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, sweet. Since I'd moved around, I'd developed, you know, a pattern of, I got to please people, self-deprecating humor, so on and so forth. You know, I'm the African guy, so I've got to be that to these people. And I was like, okay, I've
You
got to
tell
find.
people you rode on lions, bro?
What was that?
Do you tell people you rode on lions?
Oh yeah, you already know. Yeah,
Guys,
the whole shebang.
That was my, hey, I did that, bro, at school.
Hey, if it meant I won people over, I did it. So
that's the crazy thing.
Literally. Yeah. So I remember I was walking in and I spot some guys that looked around the same age as me, right? The cool group, because I wanted to be part of the in crowd, right?
Yes.
If I won them over, no one would bag on me, all that sort of stuff. So I remember I come in and start, hey guys, how's it going? Whatever. They're like, okay, cool. Where you from, man? Instantly the accent, they're like, oh yeah, cool. This guy's from New Zealand, like all the stuff, say fish and chips, classic, water, how they say water over there instead of water, all that sort of stuff. But even just to fit in, I felt like I had to be someone who I wasn't. So I remember walking around, during lunchtimes and things like that, part of this crew, because I was someone who I wasn't to them. I felt like I always had to keep this, I don't know, like persona up, be someone who I'm not.
Yeah.
Roast people and make fun of people when I knew that wasn't really who I was. And to be honest, one day I remember I would be like, the classic, you make a joke or something and then like no one responds. And then that happened enough times where I realized, oh man, whether or not I'm here or not, like these guys don't actually care. I actually don't mean anything.
Wow.
And I think digging some of that stuff up that I'd like squashed down.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a couple tears, started coming. I was like, oh, my days. I never realized that I was that, because they actually never got to know the real Aussie. So
Bro.
why would they care, And
Jesus.
that coming out in this environment now when I'm leading people much older than me.
Yeah, it's like, why would they care?
Exactly. Which makes no sense. Two completely different scenarios, but it's the same stuff that's coming around.
Operating system though, right?
Exactly.
It's there because it's built on a bank of memories that we didn't choose. Like it just happened.
Yeah.
The bank of memories remembers how you felt. So then it creates this whole meaning and belief. And that's what you then take into the next. We don't look at why it's there. We just look at, well, that's what I feel. And I guess I just got to push against it, Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, you said a few things there, man. And I'm like, so relevant. How I get them is how I got to keep them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You said that, like, how I get people is how I got to keep people. Every single client I've met is doing that.
Yeah.
Right? Every person is like, oh, because that's how I got accepted.
But yeah. Path of least resistance.
Bro, I was that person. I was, I'll perform for you. Hey,
yeah.
Say less. Like, you need me to do that? Yeah. I got you. And then like, damn, I said yes to so many things.
Yeah.
What the hell am I doing? But then I can't let it go. Cause then what if they will not need me? Not want me anymore.
Yeah, because it's always worked, right? So why fix something that's not broken from how we view it? But yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's it. That's the difference between like, well, I'll stay at that level or I go to the next. The next, which means more pressure. Let's fast forward now, right? You're going into modern leadership. Now you're working with directors, not just working with, you're coaching. So you're coaching directors. Right. So we look at, just what we just talked about, right? Run this business, trying to keep people in groups, all this kind of stuff. Like, oh man, I've got to look a certain way, sound a certain way, so that you deal with some stuff. You then make a step into, I'm going to coach directors in, is it people performance, teams performance, culture, that kind of stuff. All comes down to so you're teaching, how did you shift, or what was the difference for you from going down the fact of, I've always gotten them by wowing them, to now I'm going to be of value to them.
Yeah.
Like, what was the, how did it look different? How did it feel different? What was the, what is the difference?
Yeah. Dude, yeah, that's such a good question. When I think about it, I think it all comes down to identity and actually realizing what things I'd put my identity in before. Previously I put my identity in performance, right? If I perform well, people are going to like me. If I please them, which means performing, then it means I'm going to get what I want, right? But really it went from realizing that I was actually putting my identity in things, whereas I should be giving off my identity to them, right? And I feel like throughout the process, it's like, sweet, I discovered I was getting all those things from people, but now I know that, man, I'm actually a person who was born with intrinsic value already. Like no one else dictates that. It was already in me. I have these gifts and talents that are very unique to everyone else, very specific to me. But now I know who I am. I can actually give off myself and not have to get anything from it. So for example, with synergy and like modern leadership, what I do now, previously I would have tried to, keep people pleasing because I would have thought that's how I get, my identity or my self-worth from that thing. Now that I actually do have, I guess, that self-worth, it doesn't matter what's placed in my hands, right? Whatever we're in, your job, your business, whatever it is, it's the vehicle that is in your hands right now. Now, I feel like instead of getting something from it, that vehicle, whatever it is in my hand for me to be able to give off it, give value to them. And to know whatever it is, if it gets taken out and something else gets placed in, now that's just the new thing for me to be myself in. Like case in point, I'll take that story of facilitating that group, right? And just looking around the room and being like, man, why are these people here? That was me previous. After I did the work on, the mental operating system, I remember this was probably a few months ago now. I was in that group, we were doing a sort of exercise, and I remember hearing from one of the people within that group, probably old enough to be, like, my parent sort of thing, very distinguished in their career, great character, all that sort of stuff. And it wasn't just them; it was a few others. They're like, "Man, we love being under your leadership. We love the direction Synergy is going, so on and so forth."
Wow.
And I was like, "Wow, these are the same people that I used to be intimidated by, literally stress about the night before because I knew I was going to be in this room. And here they are saying, man, we love being under your leadership. We respect your character.
Man.
We love where Synergy is going." And I was like, wow, what actually changed from, previous to now? I'm still the same Aussie. We still hosted it in the same place. There's still the same people, same stuff going on. But what actually changed? It was actually me changing my mental operating system so that now it's almost like I'm Aussie 2.0 in the same environment. And because of that, the results were completely different. But again, that journey was required for me to go through all that crap, realize, man, all that stuff was in me so that I can now have that, I guess, result.
I think there's a real cool thing is how you get them is how you keep them. I think the freedom comes when you know you don't have to keep them.
Exactly. Oh, dude.
You
For
know,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
oh, if you leave, it
Mhm.
doesn't change my worth.
Nah.
It doesn't change my value. And so all of a sudden, you move from like a fear motive
Mm.
to like a generous, loving motive, which means I
Yeah.
can try so many different things. And if you didn't like it, I'm not going to be like, ah, dang it,
Bro.
I've lost you.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like it and you do leave,
Mhm. Yeah.
you just weren't my people.
Oh, dude.
Like you just,
Yeah.
like I think I got a guy at the moment, we work with him and, you know him for working for a couple, almost, or a year and a half now.
Mm.
And, he's had this massive transformation in terms of, uh, old him, new him. I like to call it that. It's like
Yeah.
old him is like drastic old him, and new him is like drastic. What the heck?
Yeah.
But all his team came with old version,
Mm.
and his way of getting them and keeping them was that lifestyle. He doesn't mess with that lifestyle no more. His values are like disgusted at how he lived.
Mm.
And so now he's in this place where how I get them is how I got to keep them. No, I don't need to keep them.
Yeah.
We want to go somewhere.
Mhm.
And he's like, oh, well, what got me here won't get me where I want to go. So I've got to shift.
Mm.
But it's going to be okay if people don't shift with me
Yeah.
because just means they're not ready for where we're going to go next.
Yeah.
They came to this point. And if they don't want to go where we want to go next, that's okay.
That's cool.
They came to this point,
Yeah.
and I think, it's been interesting, but
Bro, which is good to hear in leadership because I feel like that's super important. I mean, yeah, that's one of my favorite sayings is like, man, how you get them is how you keep them. It applies to so many different things. One, relationships as well. And especially when it comes to leadership. And that's one thing that I was journaling about this morning around like, okay, cool. Um, Thinking big picture, like what am I doing, with synergy networking and with modern leadership?
yeah.
Because people come and go naturally. But I feel like for me, like, again, my role isn't to keep people. My role is to actually, whether it's to plant a seed, whether it's to water the seed. I know that for me right now, my job is I'm planting seeds
Yeah,
of
bro.
leadership where, sweet, when you plant them, it's like, cool, I know I've done the work, but I'm gonna
Mm.
start to see the fruit of that, as
Yeah.
I go.
Yes.
And to do that, it means that I'm gonna be doing the same thing. I'm not going around and, planting and then watering. It's like, sweet, if my job's to plant the seed right now,
Yeah, bro.
and then someone else along the way will water it in that person,
Mm.
that's fantastic. They're doing their job for the
Mm.
same purpose. We're on the same team, but they're doing their job.
Mm.
For me right now, I'm like, cool, I'm planting this seed
Mm.
and I'm doing the same thing. So with that, it's like people come and people go, right? I might feel like I want to keep people and do the job that other person was supposed to
Hey,
do to water the seed, but it's
hey.
like, nah, my job right now is to, work with leaders and teach them how to do this. Step out of their
Mm.
business so that not everything runs through them, so that their team can actually start to perform. And if I do that well, man, there's always going to be people, and I don't need to keep them. I just need to give value,
Yeah.
and it'll naturally just happen,
But I'm on a side tangent, bro, because I know this has been a big thing. And I think it's also a big thing for a lot of young, driven entrepreneurs or people that's wanting to do stuff.
Mm,
We talk comparison,
yeah,
right? Because at the rate things grow today is outrageous,
yeah.
right? We talk Ethan Gerrard,
Mm,
right? The rate of growth
totally
is
different.
outrageous,
Yeah.
right? Man's locked in,
Hmm.
right? And so it's very easy, and you meet other people that's also locked in their own thing. And as they're locked in, then they want to show the results of their locking in,
Mm.
right? New cars, new house, new Rolly, but like
Yeah.
the young people are rocking like that, right?
Yeah.
And I know for me it was a thing of like, oh man, wait, why is success not happening as fast for me like that?
Yeah.
I'm, like that was a big thing. I just
Go
should be
there,
like, oh,
bro.
hold on,
Go
that
there.
that
Yeah.
wasn't, and I know we've had some chats around like, man, like I want to get there.
Hmm.
Like it's awesome, but then I had to go, oh, I'm not trying to achieve that. And
Hmm.
so for me, it was an issue. I can talk about mine, but I'd like to jump onto you. Like, what was the the fast paced journey to business? It's just when you jump from full time to like, okay, next month it must work out.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna grow this. Like so, and then to not go like that
Mhm.
makes you doubt, did I make the right call? All this kind of stuff. People are gonna look at me. Oh man, this guy's my age. He's running that. What the heck? He's got the. Oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I not? Like that's the whole narrative that happens.
Yeah.
How did you step out of that?
Dude. Yeah, that's a good question. My word. Yeah. I feel like I had to confront a whole lot of stuff. Like,
Mm,
again, I think the journey is just like the incubator, right? Like we always talk about that. Like the journey is the incubator for the growth.
yes.
Me stepping out exposed me to new environments and new things, and those new environments trigger some stuff, whether it's
Mm,
the people, the things, the thoughts that come up, they all trigger some stuff in me, right?
yeah.
I remember after I stepped out, you start moving in different circles. You
Mm,
start talking to other business owners. And there are younger business owners out there
yeah.
too. And I was like, man, for me, it was always that comparison of like, man, what am I doing wrong? I see these people killing it, driving these cars. So
Mm,
I think I remember talking to you about this as well. Like
yeah,
going
bro.
back end of 2024, I think it was probably like October, September. I'm like, cool, I set a goal. In 3 months' time, I'm going to go out and get that car. I'm going to finance it, put on the
Mm,
business. I'm going to be whipping. And I was excited. But I was like, okay, cool. I felt, okay, sweet. I'm going to wait 90 days, 3 months, put in the work. And then that's going to be like the reward at the end, right? Did the work, 90 days. And I got to the end of that 90 days and I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, cool. I can go get that car. Logically, it's going to slow down the business because outgoings are going to be, and then it's more pressure to
mm, mm,
pay
mm.
that bill as well on top of everything else with the family. What I didn't realize would actually come up was, oh my gosh, I'd essentially placed this thing as like, I guess like you want to call it like the idol on like a pedestal on my
Mm,
life to be
mm,
like, I'm
mm.
gonna chase this thing,
Then you're successful.
then I'm successful, and then
Yeah,
it'll show everyone else and so on and so forth.
bro.
But really it was just like it just exposed, low self-worth,
Hey,
hella comparison with other
hey.
people. And it was only then that I realized whenever I drive around town and I'd see this person or whatever person in their car or doing this thing, I automatically the same feelings come up. Jealous, not I guess jealousy in a way, just being honest. low self-worth. Man, what am I doing? I remember this one time I was driving home. Same situation.
Come on now.
I see young killer, young hitter, bro, driving his whip. And I'm like, what the heck, man, at the set of traffic lights. I was happy. I was pumped on the way home, gonna see my wife, my kid.
Yeah.
And I see that. And I was like, mood's down. I'm in the dumps.
Crazy.
I walk through the door and I'm like, babe's like, how was the day? I was like, oh, it was all right. Had a great day up until that point.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
Like 4:30 p.m. on the way home. I see that, and then all of this stuff comes up.
Yeah,
like, wow.
bro.
Embarrassed of the car that I'm driving now. I can't be seen in these environments with this whip. I'm gonna park down the road so that they don't see I'm driving this car.
Man.
And dude, I was living life small because now I'm afraid to talk to the people, that need me the most, because I'm afraid of what it is that they're going to think about me or judging me for a flipping car, like.
Yeah, bro. Isn't it we're judging ourselves?
Literally.
Right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, there are people that do judge.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to go like, hold on, am I trying to be like them?
Yeah. If anything, you always hear that, it speaks more about that person than it does about yourself. But I feel like if going through the process that you took me through, if anything, now that I know what's actually happening behind the scenes, I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Bro, that's tough. That's tough on you because that's such a limiting mindset. And I feel like, I don't know what their story is. Everyone can have the same symptoms on the top.
Yeah, bro.
But everyone got to those symptoms in a different way. Everyone's journey is different. And for me, I'm like, man, you don't even know. I'm like, oh, you're just not my people then. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't like that before, though.
Wasn't like that before. And that's the thing. It's like I mean, we're privileged, bro, in the sense of the people that come into this office, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's some big hitters, right? And they're doing some big things nationwide, globally. Like, it's like, whoa, bro, this is crazy. And then we have the people that's not like that, that want to be seen as
talk on it.
On it. So you're like, and so I'm seeing it like, oh man, there's two groups. The ones that I'm like, whoa, y'all crazy, are the ones that couldn't give a crap.
Yeah.
Right. The one that, told me to sell my car because I was like, oh, he was like, well, what's your family goals? Cool. I was like, sweetie. He's like, what you want to do about that? I was like, oh, cool. So I sold it, right? Because the next week he sees a picture of me on my bike because I was like, cool, I'm gonna be carless for a year.
Yeah.
And he's like, saw a picture on my bike, and he's like, came to the office like, that's what I'm talking about, Rico.
He was hyped.
Yeah, he was hype because he's like, he didn't talk about it, you did it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, oh, crazy. And it's the same guy that was like, the man has like a stupid watch collection.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And then I remember that one time, bro. I was like, yo, Ozzy, this guy's got, and then you came in and you're like, and he's like, why you want to watch, bro?
Oh, dude, that was confronting. I was like, I just want to watch the flicks on my family and people that doubted that I didn't make it, that I made. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Crazy.
Like the coach turned into the coach at that point. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and it's just it baffles me. Like, I mean, another guy that's like, man, he's the head of like taekwondo globally.
What?
Right. So it's like New Zealand rep, but then he's like a multiple. Man, I see him every morning at the gym, bro. He comes in on a scooter, like an electric scooter.
Yeah,
it's like every morning, just man, sports gear. And I was like, bro, and then I talked to him, and I was like, dude, like you're doing some big things, bro. And he's like, and then he laughed, and he was like, yeah, you would never know.
Yeah,
I was like,
no.
That's it. I was like, you're the man. I was
That's
like,
it.
That's what I'm talking about. Because it's like, why do we need to know?
Yeah,
if the right people need to know, get it. But I think it's more a peer level thing.
Yeah.
Like, I want to show my peers that doubted me, that thought less of me. I'm awesome. And you're like, well, you're not there to serve them. You're there to inspire them. And the hard part is, bro, like naturally results when you are focused. My journey has been, I feel like I left a lot of people that I was trying to prove myself to. And it was quite isolating. But then what it did, it made room for me to see who I was focused on.
Yeah.
And became so focused on like, that's who I'm here to serve. I'm going all in. And you'd think that the people closest to you, friends, are going to be the champions, right?
Mm.
But it's like, oh, nah, we went down. I got 2 people that's my champions,
Yeah.
you and James.
Mm.
And what I realized was natural progression and results breeds jealousy to the insecure,
Bro.
you know?
No, yeah. Talk
You
on
know?
that, bro. Yeah. And I think
And
that holds back so many friendships too, bro.
so many, because it's
Yeah.
like, well, I had 2 options. I don't succeed, or I don't go after what I feel I'm called to do
Mm-hmm.
to keep you guys cool.
Mm.
So we all stay.
Yeah.
Or I do, and you guys talk about me
Yeah.
in a not so nice way, in a little bit of like a backstabbing way,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that hurt for a while,
Yeah.
but I had to be honest. I'm like, well, it's n I did nothing to them.
Yeah.
And this is when it makes no sense. And this is when jealousy makes no sense. I did nothing
Mm.
but champion you guys to go get what you feel is on your life.
Yeah.
But then I will go do something and I want to celebrate, or like, hey, like I worked with this All Black, and I'm like, oh, I'm like,
That is wild.
I know where I used to be.
I still remember those calls back then
You know
too.
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
like, yo, that's crazy.
What the heck's going on? And it's like crickets, bro.
Mm.
And then I think only last year I realized that, oh, my success is breeding jealousy in the insecure,
Yeah.
who I thought would be day ones.
Yeah.
Caught up with a guy last week and he was like, yeah, Rico, to be honest, like when I see you, I'm like, man, like Rico's doing so well. And it does get me a bit jealous. You know, and I was like,
Yeah, I don't
bro,
know.
I'm like, dude, I'm looking at you, I'm like, you doing well, but like, we, you know, like what's going on? We don't talk about it,
Mhm.
but it's real.
Yeah.
Especially in that peer level.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, yeah, I mean, I don't know where I was going with it, but I'm like, man, it
Bro.
hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, you can't dull yourself down and not live your life because
Other people. No, it doesn't happen like that. And I remember I remember one time we were having a chat with just like us boys, you know, like at James, yourself and me, right? At Rook. It's like Friday afternoon chats. It was gangster, it was mean. Now I remember I said a line and I was like, oh wow, this has literally been a reflection of I feel like what my journey has been like. And I feel like being in our crew, we've seen over the years, right? Like doing life together, the people that come in and the people that leave, especially at the rate of growth that happens, considering all the situations we put ourselves in on the journey to be able to grow and all that sort of stuff. It takes a real secure person to be in this group with the type of things that people are doing. Not trying to like big ourselves up or anything. I'm just talking I'll talk on myself.
Or even just the vulnerability level that we get to.
100%.
You know? Like we talk about like, yeah, bro, like I mean last week, right? You're sitting there and I was like, bro, this just hit me around like some memories that came up around me hurting Hannah in our first year when we talked about porn. Like not many people are gonna go there.
Oh no, bro.
But it was just like a normal conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, yo, had to forgive myself, had to forgive her, bro. Like, but you know, you're like, whoa, crazy.
You don't go.
We don't go there.
Yeah, man.
So you're like, that level of depth also gives the ability to not be insecure with a level of highs.
Exactly.
Sorry, I hijacked you there, bro.
No, you're good. You're good. I was actually, going to say something along the lines of that, of like, wow, it's one, you can have those conversations, but actually being able to take whatever it is that brings up and take it away. Like, for example, ourselves, we've been working together for a while. Going back to the Kickstart mornings days for the people,
bro,
you know, that didn't really remember, you know, what those days were like. I think this was probably 2022 or 23, something like that. I remember that year just being like, okay, sweet. This year is just a year of like learning from Rico. That's it. But I didn't know what that year would bring though. That's the thing. What it brought was I was in those environments where it's like, yo, okay, sweet. I'm emceeing or whatever it is. And now I'm in conversations that you're in and I don't have anything of value to give. I'm just there to listen. And what that brought up in me is like, why do I feel like I have to bring value to the table? Why do I feel like I have to be seen in order to be of value and all these things? I didn't know that was there. But because of the journey, it's like, oh, wow, that revealed some stuff that I had to go work on. Here's where the friendship part comes in, though. If I hadn't dealt with that sort of stuff, can you imagine the jealousy that would come in? everything further on down the line of not being able to celebrate the big things that you've done, of like, wow, Rico's doing this, man. Why aren't I doing that? Of like, instead of actually just being hyped, you know? And I feel like for me, if anything, whatever this journey and what it's brought is it probably helped me be a better friend as well, better husband, better business owner, to be able to give value to all these different people in my life. One, because I actually grew what this is up here.
Yeah.
Right.
Bro. Yeah.
But the impact on friendship is so crazy, man. Like,
bro, I'm thinking of like, I mean, if you're on Prime, watch The House of David, right? So we be watching The House of David.
Yeah.
And I think that's like prime example of a person excelling in what they're good at, breeding jealousy in somebody else that's territorial.
Yeah.
You know, like you're stepping into my space. And I look at that, I'm like, bro, David was just like a nobody. Nobody, bro. But he was talented at the harp, talented at this, and then starts like winning battles, wars for the king at that time. And the king's out here getting jealous because people are talking about David more than talking about him.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Well, the man's working for you, bro.
He said he loves you.
Bro, like, you know, man's working for you. And yet, David did nothing wrong. Yet, the jealousy breeded hatred. And then eventually, like, cool, Saul wants to kill this guy.
Yeah.
For doing nothing wrong.
Literally.
And I think I'm like, oh, I can't control other people's jealousy unless I dull myself down.
Oh.
Like, that's the only thing. And if I'm like, I got two ways. I'm like, I can dull myself down and be more New Zealand, insecure, the good old tall Bobby syndrome, you know, like cut myself right down.
Yeah.
And be accepted by everybody. But be of value to none.
Yeah.
Or be of value to the ones I feel I need to be of value to.
Yeah.
And probably be rejected by masses.
That's a bar on that. 100%.
And it's tough, bro. But I think like being able to do it with you, you know, we're very honest with each other.
Oh, yeah.
But like witnessing it, you know, the comparison part, and like just the vulnerability. Like Aussies like will come into the office and you know, like bro, I was driving to Akaroa the other day, bro. I saw someone, man. You know, I remember this week. I saw someone. And they, you know, like, I saw someone, bro. They were, like, man, they were in the range, bro. And I was like, damn, they're gonna see me in this. And
I
had to like go back somewhere else, bro. But like, you could openly come and talk to me about that, and then we could be like, oh, bro, like, you know, we can't say that they should be bad, but like, we gotta go deal with ourselves.
Yeah.
Why is that triggering you?
100%.
And then you go and do the work, and they are like,
yeah. Instead of just, you know, putting on a front and be like, oh, nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
But dude, all that stuff, I mean, we know if all that stuff left undealt with just stacks up over time. And going through that process and just seeing all that stuff that I just mentioned before about back in high school, you know, doing my homework and seeing my mom come in, that was just one thing. But over time, similar things happen and they'll get categorized in the same in the same part of the mind. And all of a sudden you're, you know, stepping onto this rug that's all the way up here with a whole lot of junk under there that hasn't been dealt with, you know? But I think that's the key of actually having the friendships, like what we have with our crew, with the guys, where we're actually vulnerable with each other. Because of that, it allows room for the conversations that we have. Like I was at an event probably like 2 weeks ago, and they were like, okay, I want you to speak on like community since you're, you know, this is what you do. And I was like, yeah, sweet, more than happy to. And they were introing me. They're like, hey, look, Ozzy, you know, someone like yourself who is growing at such an incredible rate or something along those lines. I would love to hear more about how you're actually able to do that. And for me, I was like, yeah, to be honest, it is. I don't think it's by accident. It's by intention. Because relationships, if you're doing this journey by yourself, especially if you're in business ownership, it's tough. Like it's hard. And to do it alone, it's even harder. So I feel like when it comes to relationships, I don't think I would be here right now if it weren't for those relationships and the depth of them. And I picture us going back a couple of years ago. We were catching up our group 5 days. Monday to Friday. You know, 6:30 every day at a cafe, having these conversations. Boys, I'm struggling with this.
Yeah,
talk about every man's battle, porn, all that sort of stuff. Tears. Talking about like, I said this to I told my wife, and this is the reaction she had. I don't think I'm worthy of her, because she was like, okay, cool, I'm here for you. Like that you're battling with this, let's do it. I'm not. And I was like, why do I deserve this woman? Like all this stuff.
Yeah, bro.
But it's like, man, not many people have those conversations.
Not many people to have that level of trust.
Literally.
You know, and I do think of it now, you're like that level of depth. It's not seen.
Yeah.
No one sees the roots. Right? But we like to judge the fruit real quick.
Yeah.
And we see the fruit and we think, oh, I got to produce that kind of fruit really, really fast. But no one sees oh, wait, you caught up with somebody every single day for a year.
Yeah.
And got vulnerable. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can't microwave relationship, man. You can't microwave it.
Different, bro. Before we finish, I want to touch real quick on something that's been baffling both of us, but like, you know, you had a moment where you're doing some journaling and then bam, revelation comes to you around motivation.
Oof. Yeah.
Right? Motivation. Because we were both feeling of like, yo, like we were working on all these things, bro. And why is my motivation going down?
Yeah.
Like we're getting healthy, like, you know, and then it just hit of like, I was like, because we're both like, yeah, cool. We need a bigger vision. We need bigger goals.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not making me want to get up anymore. You know, like, is getting healthy bad? You know, like, like, start with, the revelation that you got around motivation that literally changed the game for both of us.
Yeah.
I feel, and what it looks like now.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. You're right. It does affect everything. I flash back to when I used to play competitive basketball, right, in high school. And for me, I remember when I was in Australia, I just moved there playing in this small town team. And I remember there was this guy on my team who made the New South Wales team, like under 16s that previous year. And I was like, man, I feel like I'm just as good, but all these people are giving him props and they're like, oh man, he's the flipping man. Granted, he was like flipping 6'8" at 15. I'm like, okay, maybe they had a point. But nonetheless, I was like, nah, heck no. I feel like I can do that too. I've been playing well. I feel like I can make that. Psh, it ain't nothing.
Yeah.
So throughout that whole year, Ozzy got in the lab. Code for I got into the gym, practiced. And got to translate. I got in the lab and I started putting in the work. What I didn't realize, putting in all that work, making the team, got to the point where we, they picked the final 20 to go to a tournament. And then from that tournament, it's like, I think it was like 3-4 days, they'll pick the final, 10 to go to the nationals, which is where you're like playing all the other states, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm trying to get there. That guy made the final 20 and everyone's talking about like, he's the man, blah, blah, blah. So I remember training all year, going to these camps, all these coaches are like, oh, yo, sweet. Like, where are you from? Oh, yeah, cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it, man. Like, we're going there.
Yeah.
Get to the trials. And some of the same coaches were there. I play out of my skin. I end up making the final 20. What happened then? Made the final 20, couple camps before this big tournament. I didn't put in the work. I remember I went for a holiday here to come to back New Zealand, visit my dad for Christmas, knowing that this tournament, right, was coming up in January. Did not practice. I probably practiced like twice in the 2 weeks that I was here. I didn't go for a run, unfit as heck. And as I got back and went to the tournament, I'm the point guard. I'm supposed to know all the plays. I didn't know them all. I was unfit. And I was like, man, that story would always come back up. But this time when it came up around like motivation, I was like, man, am I lazy? And then I was digging down. It's like, actually, no. What was motivating me then was actually a chip on my shoulder because I was trying to prove something to all these people that I didn't need to. But because I felt like I did, that created the fire in me to now go out there and work hard, wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And then once I made it to that level where I was like, I know I can do that too. He made it here. I made it. All motivation dropped out.
Yeah, I've done it.
I've done it.
Prove those.
I don't need to practice. I wasn't thinking this. I knew I needed to, but like, non-conscious, I was like, okay, I didn't feel that same fire to practice anymore. And I brought it back into what we're doing now. And I was like, wow, like motivation, we tend to just finish it there. Like, I don't have motivation, but it's motive. Yeah. Like, what is the motive driving you to do what it is that you're doing? For me back then, it was to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
Now that I've worked on that, I don't got that chip on my shoulder anymore. I've lost the motivation. Now I feel like my motive has to change, right? I have to find a new motive. And for me, I brought it into what I'm doing now. You're talking about money as a security, right? I had to work on that real quick after I stepped out.
Yeah.
You can have two people doing the exact same thing. I'm trying to serve my clients, make sure they get the best results. Or I'm trying to serve my clients to make sure they get the best results because I know that that'll give me money and money will pay my bills. So I got to pay my bills. If I got to do this to pay my bills, that's what I'm going to do. On the surface, like look from the outside looking in, they both look fine. It's the same thing. But actually under the surface, it's like, wow, those are two completely different motives.
And one decides how long and how far you go.
Exactly.
You know, like that's the thing of like, a month or two ago now when we played that basketball game.
Yeah.
And the man trash talked me for a whole game.
Yeah.
Right? Man, that night I was ready to go for a run after the game.
Yeah.
And I texted you that night. I was like, I'll be at the gym tomorrow morning, you know, because the chip in my shoulder got activated.
Yeah.
And it hadn't been activated because I haven't been doing any physical exercise for so long. So I was like, that's not a thing. Then bam, gets activated. And I'm like, cool, chip my shoulder. I got something to prove.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove to this little, that I am actually the man. That this, you know, I'm like, yo, Rico, you still got it. Go get it. Go get it, you know? And then the next day it hit me and I was like, yo, this is not a healthy motive, bro. This is not a healthy motive.
Because once I get there, then what?
Then what?
What reputation what does he think about me now? What am I demonstrating to my teammates? All that. Yeah.
Oh, and so, for me, it hit down to this point of like, oh man, I need to prove that I'm important. Because then people will stay, all this kind of stuff. And so the healthy shift for me in the fitness health space now has gone like, I didn't have fitness for a long time because of my back. It's been given back to me. So it's almost like a gift.
Yeah.
And I wonder what being healthy and fit could do for me in terms of capacity.
Yeah.
What kind of dad I would be, what kind of husband I would be, what kind of business owner I would be if I actually utilized the fact that I'm African. with some
genetics.
With some gangster ass genetics. I'm like, I wonder. You know? And so then that's like, man, let's go see. And it's not to prove anything to anyone. It's actually to be like, man, I've been created in a certain way. Let's see what I can get out of this.
For sure. And now you think about what you can actually achieve. Like you talked about the longevity, it's there. But now what you can actually achieve, totally different. I think I've underestimated, now that you're mentioning this, I think I've underestimated the compounding of like dealing with all that stuff. Because it wasn't just that one thought detox, you know, back in the networking, whatever it is, that changed the game. I'm like, yeah, it did. But that plus the next thing, it's like all of a sudden you realize, man, I'm a completely different person. And now what I'm actually able to achieve is a lot greater compared to just trying to make a team because old mate here made it. Like I think back now, and this is me, I don't know, people can call me delusional, but I'm like, bro, I think I could have made like, you know,
I get it, bro. I get it.
At least college.
If I knew this,
college level.
If I knew this
now, like back then, my word, bro.
Different.
Oh, best believe my trash talk would have been different, bro.
Oh, no. I get that. I get that too, though.
Yeah,
I get that
but
too.
Totally different. It's the limits.
I see it. I was talking to working with a coach recently that's like operating globally, and he said to me, why is it that we have to use fear to motivate? Oh, you're wearing that jersey. You need to be proud because the whole country is watching you. You know, like it was like, why do we have to instill fear into players to motivate?
Yeah.
I feel like it's wrong, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's wrong. I feel like there has to be a better way. That's what we're talking about. And I was like, there's a better way. It's just slower to get it there.
Yeah.
Because you got to do work that you can't see. But when you do, all of a sudden having the love for what you do versus the fear of disappointing in it, it opens up. I look at it as like when you're fearful of don't disappoint, you must succeed. There's only one track to get there.
For sure.
No taking risks, no trying what else is in you. But the moment you go, man, I want to see what I get that. Like, I want to take some risks. I want to see what I can do.
For sure.
All of a sudden you go to a different level of performance, but it's sustainable because it's out of love, not fear.
Exactly.
You know, and that coach was like, oh man, when I look at another coaching job now across the world, whew,
Yeah.
my job, I'm gonna take fear out of players. I'm gonna take fear out of players. I'm not gonna change the environment so they don't feel fear. Now I'm gonna take it out.
Yeah.
And so they can get in the environment and flip an impact.
Exactly.
Like, oh, come
bro,
on,
that's on. That is on.
Anyway, but I don't know what the time is, bro. But I feel like
we've been yarning.
This is on, bro.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, bro. And I'm like, I get hyped.
I'm
gonna calm myself down. But this is literally what the conversations be like on a daily.
On a regular. But thank you for hopping on the mic, though.
I appreciate you having me, man.
It. Hope you learned something. Subscribe or follow or tag us. Do whatever you need to do with Good Old Podcast. Let's go.